Today we're making a magic iris card with a surprise reveal. So I will show you how to assemble the iris mechanism and create a hidden scene on the inside for a fun interactive finish. All of the supplies I'm using today will be linked down below in the video description. I started out by stamping all of the images that I planned on using for my scene onto an 80-pound white cardstock. The images I'm using today are coming from the stamp sets All the Clouds, A Mole Lotta Love, and A Mole Lotta Love add-on. Now, I am starting by stamping the images in Crunchy Leaf, which is alcohol-friendly ink. I decided to do this and then leave all of my stamps in place so that I can re-stamp with black ink later. The reason I'm doing that is just to minimize any smearing. Sometimes I get a little impatient with black ink and I don't wait long enough for it to dry, and then I end up smearing. So this is just kind of a fail-safe for me. I will be coloring my images today using my Ohuhu markers, which are fairly new to me, but I thought it would be fun to try and mix it up a little bit. I believe this is the Honolulu Bee set. So I started by coloring in all the dirt. I am using E415, E58, and E46. I'm also going to use those same colors for the tree as well. And that tree is coming from the tree before and after stamp set. I apologize, I did not mention that in the beginning. So I did stamp one little tree just to kind of fill in the scene that I'm going to be creating. For all of the dirt that I colored in, I did keep the darkest color towards the bottom and then have it get lighter as I got towards the top of the dirt. Now, for all of the moles, I'll be using the same colors for these. This set of colors, I believe, is E914, E97, and E92. So really what I did for coloring is I kept their face the highlight area, meaning that is the area I put my lightest shade of color. And I did that for all of them. The ones that were kind of sticking up from the dirt, I put the highlight more in the center. Now this guy with the glasses, he's facing to the left, so I'm going to keep the darkest area on the right-hand side. So again, like I mentioned, my lightest color is going to be towards his face, or I guess I should say towards his nose. Same thing with this one that has the shovel. I put the darkest color on the right-hand side, and then I blend it out to the lightest color towards the tip of his nose. So I just envisioned that the side where his nose is where my light source would be. After I finished coloring them all in, I'm going to come back to the nose and muzzle area in a little bit. I was still deciding what I wanted to use for those colors. I'm going to come in for the leaves on the tree. For that, I used a really nice kind of bright, I shouldn't say bright, maybe more of a pastel green. I am using G44 and G410. And all I did is color it in with the lightest shade, and then I came in with a darker color and added a line. So I didn't do a lot of blending there. For my little worm that is sticking up, I used YG611 and YG07. And then for the muzzle, I came in with Y611 and Y55. So kind of a yellow peachy tone. The nose is pretty small, so I just came in with a WG08 to add that dot of color and make their nose a nice dark, I guess I would say gray. For the shovel, I did CG02 and CG17, and then for all of my clouds, which I did stamp out quite a few different sizes, I am using BV32 and BV31, so it's more like a purplish blue, but really, really light. Then once I had everything colored in, I'm going to bring this back over to my Misty stamping tool because remember I left all of my images in place. I'm going to make sure that my cardstock is tucked down in that corner like it originally was. And then I'm going to ink up all of my images using the Lawn Fawn Jet Black ink to establish that nice dark black line. I will match up the coordinating dies for each of these, hold them down with a low tack tape, and then run these through my die cut machine, and we can start working on the front of our interactive card. So first I have two pieces of white cardstock, 80-pound, cut to 4¼ by 5½, and I'm going to die cut out a hillside using the stitched hillside die set. So I made sure that this size was going to come below that circle. So here I have the Magic Iris add-on. It's going to give me the circle in the center, which I'm going to leave in place. Now, just by looking at this, I was kind of eyeballing where my stitched hillside was going to be. I may end up trimming some of it off. I wanted it to be a little lower than that circle in the center. But first, I want to create my scene. So with the circle in the center yet, I put some repositionable tape on the back to hold that down to my work surface. And then I have the grassy stencil. I want the grass to be behind my hill. So I kind of lined up the hillside, placed my stencil up just above it. That stencil is going to cover the background and also go over that circle insert that I left in place. Then I just move the hillside out of the way. I have my stencil held down with the low tack tape and I ink blended on freshly cut grass. I don't need to go all the way down because that's going to be covered up with the stitched hillside. I remove the stencil. I'm going to line up the other end of the stencil to mask off the grass, and then I'm going to blend a light blue sky. I already have clouds that I'm going to be using on here, so I just wanted a nice soft blend there. I'm using the mermaid ink and a blending brush to add that light color. By leaving that circle in the center, I'm going to create a nice cohesive scene over the front of my panel because I'm going to use that centerpiece in the interactive portion. Then for the stitched hillside, I'm starting at the bottom and I started blending with pizza crust ink just to give a nice light wash color over it. I kind of get a little lighter handed as I get towards the top of the hillside. And then I'll come in with dough ink, again, starting at the bottom and blend maybe about 3/4 of the way up. Once I have that blended, I'm going to bring it over to the front of my panel. This is going to be the front of the card. Make sure I'm getting an idea how that's sitting. If I'm happy with it, I can go ahead and attach that with a tape runner, and then I can always trim off any excess. So you can decide how far up you want that or how far down. I did know I wanted that just below that circle. So I went ahead and attached it and then trimmed off any excess hanging over the edges. Before I create any interactive portion, I want to make sure I get my sentiment stamped on the top. So I'm lining up a sentiment at the bottom, and this comes from the birthday before and after stamp set. I just thought it fit perfectly with having the interactive portion and the surprise in the center. And then I'm using a sentiment off of the A Mole Lotta Love stamp set, except I'm going to mask part of it off. And that first word, I will actually create using some die cut letters. So I stamped those on the front of my card, and then I created the word Poppin. So I did the Poppin. I die cut it out 3 times from white cardstock. One layer I'm going to ink blend on using dough ink and a small blending brush. I will blend about maybe 3/4 the way up so it kind of fades off into white, and it's going to give that nice gradient effect. So I was kind of tying in the theme of a pile of dirt, as weird as that sounds. So once I have that one set of the letters ink blended, I can then stack these up for dimension. And I'm using my tweezers and liquid glue. Then I took those words, I spaced them out on my work surface, lined them up with the grid lines, and then picked it up with a low tack tape or scotch tape, just enough to tack it to the tape and then be able to line it up on the front of my panel. So I added liquid glue to the back of all of those letters, place it over the front, and then I could press down and just carefully peel that tape away. And that was using the Kohl's ABC die set. Using the liquid glue will allow me a little bit of time to kind of finagle my letters if I was slightly off when lining them up. Then I can start working on assembling my scene. So I will add some of the pieces that are further in the background, like the clouds and the tree, I will add with a tape runner. And then I started placing out the moles, and I knew exactly which one was going to go in the center. The rest of them will kind of fill in the scene in the front. Some of them I will pop up with some thin foam squares, and then I can trim off any excess off the edges using a large pair of scissors. So I'm bringing that circle piece back. I kind of just tucked that in there for right now. And then I'm adding my one mole that's kind of sticking out of the ground there. I'll add that one with a tape runner and also fill it in with a small cloud. Again, trimming off any excess so that it doesn't catch when my interactive portion opens up. To create our magic iris, you will need 3 of those large circles, 3 of those tabs. I have one bigger tab, which is going to be my handle, and then I have 3 of those, we'll say hot dog shapes. So one of your large circles, you will need to die cut out with this die that's going to cut out these slits on the front of it. Kind of looks like an inner tube right now, actually. And then we will take our hot dog pieces, put the tab in those slots, and then make sure you're lining up the inside of that, we'll say inner tube or donut. So everything will match up with that inner circle. Now, on top of those little hot dog pieces is an X, and you're going to need some mini or micro glue dots and place it right on top of those X's. Then you'll take one of your plain circle pieces that you haven't done anything with and place it right over the top. So it's going to be attached with those glue dots. There are some embossed lines on the top of that circle piece. That is where you're going to put your adhesive. So you're going to put a line from the inner edge out to the outer edge. I just used the tape runner for that. And this is where we're going to attach those inserts. So lining up the curve of the insert with the curve of the inner part of that circle. Then flip it over. We're going to add our handle. So I added a little bit of tape runner to about half of that handle, and I'm lining that up so that that also is lining up with the curve of our inner circle. And it's going to create a V right next to that one tab. Doesn't matter which tab, just one of those tabs. Then I placed our last circle over the top. I'm adding tape runner to that tab and then just gently folding them in. So these are not going to go all the way to that inner circle. We want it to be just a little bit out because we want to have some give there to be able to move our handle up and down to create our window on our magic iris. Before I add this to a card front, I noticed that one of my foam squares was kind of hanging over the edge, which would get in the way of my interactive portion. So I actually just added a little bit of anti-static powder to the back of that to remove that stickiness. I'm placing the decorated panel over a piece of cardstock that measures 4¼ by 5½. And I'm adding our centerpiece with some tape runner because we need that as our guide. Now you can take your assembled magic iris, add tape runner to the top. I almost forgot to add my decorated handle. This is a die you will need to die cut out a white cardstock, and I'm adding that to my handle with the tape runner. So you need that because it's going to be flush with the edge of our decorated panel. So I have tape runner on top of my magic iris piece. I lined up the edges of my handle with the edge of the panel and then attached that. So then I flipped the panel over. I added foam squares around that. Just make sure your foam squares are not in the way of your mechanism, and you can add this to your card front. So now when we open and close it, we are revealing this hidden scene. Really fun, interactive, something the recipient just might not expect when they pull that tab. Now, if you want to add some finishing touches to this, we can do that with a couple different things. First, I'm going to start with a white gel pen. So I took that and I added little highlight areas to the moles and also to the dirt and the leaves on the tree. And then I'm adding sparkle to my die cut letters using some Stardust stickles. So now we have a fully finished magic iris card that's featuring this cute little hidden scene on the inside, and everything is completely cohesive. Thank you all for joining me today. And if you liked today's video, here is another one that I think you'll enjoy.